Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Sherly Dita Hutami from Merdeka Malang University, where I'm responsible for a speaker in today's presentation. The purpose of my presentation today is to train you to improve speaking English skill. If there are any questions you'd like to ask, please leave them until the end while I do my best to answer them. My talk is divided into 4 parts. First is the base part, which is the confidence in speaking English. And then we'll move on to the listening and reading method. Third is the important part, which is practice. And finally, we will reflect on the practice. As we all know, we've been learning English since elementary school, or maybe some of you since a toddler by your parents. But we still couldn't express ourselves in speaking English. Well, no worry more because you're joining this session to learn how to speak English confidently. Now, let's begin. I'd like to start with the base part of developing speaking English skill, which is the confidence. Sounds easy, but trust me, the biggest problem is you're not brave enough to speak in English. I know you have many things in your head to say, but you're not brave enough to express yourself. So you're just being quiet, and in the end, you don't speak any words. There are many challenges to learning a foreign language, but none are perhaps more harmful than your lack of confidence. And one of the best ways to overcome this is to get out there and practice. You can build confidence by listening or watching movies or songs, reading text out loud every day, and finding a friend or community who can help you. And the important thing is don't be afraid of making mistakes. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. If you find yourself struggling in the conversation or there are some complicated words, just stop, give yourself a few seconds to breathe, and then continue speaking again. So that concludes that the key of speaking English confidently is to practice, practice, and practice more. Be consistent in your language journey and make sure to set aside some time every day to speak English. Now let's move on to the next part, which is the listening and reading method. This method is for learning vocabulary, phrases, and how to pronounce it. Class is great to learning vocabulary, but in other ways, you can increase it by watching movies, listening to music, the radio, and to podcasts. Or you can also read books, magazines, and blogs. When you're listening and reading, find new and interesting expressions, slang terms, and synonyms, and then write down this new material and look up anything you're not familiar with. To expand your vocabulary, it is a good way to learn new words every day. Even if you only have time to learn only one new word per day, it is still worth to trying. Don't forget to write the number down to remind yourself frequently. The news, songs, and TV shows are good sources for words depending on your daily habit. For example, if you love listening to music, you need to pay attention to the lyrics. And if you find an unknown word, you can take a note of the words you don't know. Besides learning new words, learning words in phrases and chunks is also important. For example, you refer to beverage as a glass of wine, a pint of beer, a cup of tea are better than merely wine, beer, tea, and so on. And there is one technique to improve speaking English when listening or watching movie, which is speech shadowing. Simply, it is about imitating how a native speaker says something and trying to copy it. You need to pick your favorite video with subtitles to make sure you're comfortable, you enjoy watching it because you will. And then you listen to it many times and read the subtitles to get to the general content and flows. And then imitate the narrator sentence by sentence. Play, listen, pause, and speak. Copy the sentence pattern as best as you can. And don't forget to pay attention to your pronunciation. You might know a lot of words, but if you fail to say them correctly, you will not be understood. Then you can use online dictionaries such as Merriam-Webster and U-Dictionary, and then click the speaker icon to check the pronunciation. Learning proper English pronunciation is essential for excelling in conversation with native and even in situations in school or at work. Well, I've told you about the listening and reading method. This leads me to my next point, which is the important point is practice. Speak, speak, and speak. Commit to practicing often and with as many as different people possible. Because we live in Indonesia and the mother language is Bahasa Indonesia, you can increase it with the practice time by meeting your classmates. Or you can finding a language exchange partner or joining an online community of learners. When you start speaking, you need to think in English to take less time to produce or respond in everyday conversations and no translation is needed. And then we have self-talk. Self-talk is also a good term of practice. Talking to yourself in English can be anything from suggestions like, shall we go now? Or a reminder like, I need to do my assignment tonight. You can also pick up a book and read it out loud to speed up your speaking skills. So that's an overview of speaking. Now I will move on to the reflect on the practice. After your practicing is over, take a moment to reflect. How did it go? How comfortable did you feel? Did you encounter any unknown words? This act of thinking about it is in this way will increase your confidence for the next time you speak. Or maybe because you felt very nervous, you forgot how the conversation was going. The alternative is to record your voice. I know the most people dislike hearing their voice in the voice recording, but it's actually an extremely beneficial way to reflect and improve your skill. On the other hand, you could be pleasantly surprised to hear that your speaking is far better than you thought. You can also give the recording to your teacher or to a native speaker friend. and have them to give you feedback. That's all I have to say about the reflect on the practice. That's an overview of how to improve speaking English skill. Now, just to summarize, let's quickly look at the main points again. To sum up, we need confidence to develop our speaking English skill. There are so many methods to help you, but in general, it is about listening and reading. So you can choose your preferred method to expand your vocabulary, correct your pronunciation, and boost your speaking English skill. The most important point is practicing. Your vocabulary will be useless if you're not practice. Practice as much as possible and reflect on how your conversation was to introspection yourself. In conclusion, choose one method which suits you and don't forget to have fun. It's far easier when you're having fun, like singing along with popular songs in English, doing tongue twister, or having fun, having a silliness conversation with yourself. That's bring us to the end of my presentation. Finally, I'd like to finish by thanking you for your attention and interest. If anyone has any question, please feel free to ask them in the comment section. And thank you so much for your attention. Good morning.